Hi friends, it's Maddie here, back at it again with another reaction video. And today we're going to be watching Norm MacDonald's hilarious take on war. This video claims that we won't stop laughing. I imagine we will because it's Norm. We won't because it's Norm, but let's find out. All right.
You didn't know who Hitler was?
Yeah, like many of us, I didn't. But I do now. And let me tell you something.
Oh my gosh, we're like 6 seconds in, like many of us. I didn't.
You didn't know who Hitler was?
Yeah, like many of us, I didn't. But I do now. And let me tell you something. That guy's no good. Now, I grew up like you, thinking the Nazis were a bunch of funny fellas, because I watched Hogan's Heroes every week. But it wasn't like that. Oh, I know nothing. I see nothing. A lot less funny when you figure that was the cornerstone of the Nuremberg trials defense.
You did some traveling, I guess, since we last saw you. You were in.
Yeah, I did. I'd never been overseas, and I went to Amsterdam. My dad was in World War II. He was a lot older than I. Well, obviously, he was older than I was. He had me when he was an older fella, and he served in World War II, and he liberated Holland, you know, from the icy grip of that dork Hitler, you know. Yeah. So, and you know, with Hitler, the more I learn about that guy, the more I don't care for him. I can't.
David is so shocked. He doesn't even know what to do. This is hilarious. He's just like, what?
The more I learn about that guy, the more I don't care for him.
Oh, this is a photo. Okay. Okay.
I can't.
Okay. Yes, you guys can call me dumb for that. I literally thought I was watching a video, but they weren't moving, so okay. It's okay.
Yeah. And there's nothing redeeming about the guy. I tell the guys, I go, how on earth could these Germans like follow this lunatic, you know? And they're like, oh, he was an incredible public speaker, you know? He could hypnotize you with his public speaking. And then I see him, he's like, strangely, I go, what? That's not my idea of a silver-tongued devil.
Oh my gosh.
So anyways, that's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is my dad went over and he liberated Holland. I'll tell you something about the Dutch. They don't forget, you know. My dad, a dirt poor farmer, you know, couldn't be poor, went over to Holland, liberated the country, and they never forgot. Every 5 years he would go and they would throw petals, you know, and it was fantastic.
They're still grateful. The Dutch were still grateful.
Is this true? If anybody's parents who fought, or grandparents or great-grandparents fought in the war, is this true? If you went to the country, would they still celebrate you? That's kind of cool. That's sweet.
And they never forgot. Every 5 years, he would go and they would throw petals, you know, and it was fantastic.
They're still grateful. The Dutch were still grateful for what the Canadians had done.
So I went over.
He was in the Canadian Army, right?
Yeah, well, mostly it was my dad, but...
Yeah.
No, I used my dad as a surrogate for the entire Canadian Army. But, so I went over because my dad's dead. And so I said, it'd be great to see, you know. And so I went to Holland, went to Amsterdam, and oh my...
I'm not laughing at the fact that his dad's dead. It's just the matter-of-fact way he stated, my dad's dead. Okay.
So I went over because my dad's dead. And so I said, it'd be great to see, you know. And so I went to Holland, went to Amsterdam, and oh my Lord. At first, you know, it's a picturesque place. People are driving around their bicycles over cobblestone streets with canals. It's beautiful, windmills, and it looks, but then the whole country's gone to hell in a handbasket. You would not believe this. You can do drugs legally.
Really?
Legally. They have a place called coffee shops, right? So I went into one, I said, hey man, I enjoy coffee, but can I have a coffee? They're like, we don't have coffee. It's a coffee shop. They go, we got drugs. So I'm like, I don't want drugs. That's wrong. What the hell are you talking about, you know? And then prostitutes. They have prostitutes in the window. You can walk along, and there's prostitutes in the window that you can go and have illegal sex. It's legal there, and it's all ass over tea kettle wrong, you know? And so then I had a whole different view of the place of just these, you know, crazy people.
Just not right.
So anyways, one night I was going back to my hotel, and I'm going back to my hotel, and I can't find my hotel because everything's in, you know, they're all foreigners, so it's all different language, hard to find streets and stuff. So I was walking around forever. Finally, I see
They're all foreigners. Oh my God. He's so good at storytelling. He's so good. He's so funny. He's so good at storytelling. He could have just said, yeah, the people on the streets, but he literally called those that live in the country from which they were born foreigners to just add humor, and I love him so
find
much.
my hotel because everything's in, you know, they're
Oh
all
my
foreigners,
gosh.
so it's all different language, hard to find streets and stuff. So I was walking around forever. Finally, I see my hotel, you know, and I get there, and there's a
America.
red light, you know. And have you ever been to those places where, not a red light like a red light district,
traffic light.
a stoplight that was red, and you know when the red never changes?
Yes.
You ever been in that
Yeah.
experience? So I'm standing there, and the red, a minute goes by, 2 minutes go by, 3 minutes go by, whatever minutes go by, and it never changes, and there's no traffic at all. So finally I go, I'll just walk across the red light, right?
Yeah.
What harm can be done? Walk across the red light, immediately a police officer comes riding a bicycle. So then this guy, you know, he's like, you know, talking with this foreign thing, and so he writes me a ticket, you know. I go, are you kidding me? Your whole country's a bunch of drug-smoking prostitute people, you know?
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. And also, if it wasn't for my dad, then that guy wouldn't get to have the freedom to drive his fruity bicycle anyway, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, he'd be living in a country where a guy was going, "Frankly, frankly, frankly."
Peter wrote a one-act play.
God damn, I wish I had a time machine.
To see that action.
Yeah, no, to take back my question.
Thought you were going to say to murder Hitler.
I would not, you know, people always fucking want to murder Hitler with their time machine, right? But then I feel if I got back there, I'd be afraid of falling under the spell of his fucking beautiful eyes.
It's true.
And oratory. And
He
then,
locked in the gaze.
yeah, and then I join the fucking party,
That's
knowing
his
me.
thing. He gives you his full attention. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe there's
Norm,
something to
I'm
this guy.
No, but before you ask another serious
Believe it
question,
or
we
not,
gotta
they're
move
telling
on.
us to wrap it up. I don't exactly
I
know
want to.
why you
Wrap
guys.
it. This is fun for everyone.
It's the
For the
Lonely
record,
Island, guys.
I would have killed Hitler. So thanks, gentlemen.
Can I just clarify? if I did go back in time to kill Hitler, I would do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't get
That's
lost
the-
in
that's
his
the front
eyes
door
and then
choice.
bail.
Yeah.
Just so I don't get like
thanks for
hit
having
from
us.
all the like
I know. All the,
defamation
Yeah,
leads.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
He would end it. Yeah.
Pro.
listen, man, I'm
Right now, they're scared of getting in trouble. But it's ridiculous because I think that out of the 6 or 5 or 6 people sitting there, like half of them are Jews or of Jewish origin. So it's very funny that they feel so anxiety induced to state this, even though it's totally a bit. And it's like, I don't think anybody genuinely could say they liked Hitler just off the cuff like that. I don't think that that's a thing. I mean, obviously there are people who do, but that's a different category of people. These are comedians. So, okay.
sorry about,
We got to wrap it up.
I'm sorry
It's
about
over.
bringing up Hitler.
You really brought this live show to a new
This is
level.
the first one, right? This is your first interview?
It's just
Yeah,
gonna get worse from
this is
here.
the first time I've ever been interviewed.
Just
Man.
sign
You
it.
can bring Hitler into all of them, they're going to ask you back for sure, which is I know what you want.
That's what we're all hoping.
These kind of characters. I think we should kill Hitler. Me and you go suicide, kill him.
Right. It was like died 50 years ago,
Did
probably.
he? I didn't even know he was sick.
He wasn't. Well. No, that's fine.
I wish I could find a Hitler of today and go kill him. Now that I'm old, suicide, kill him.
Got it. It was like he died 50 years ago, probably.
Did he? I didn't even know he was sick.
He wasn't. Well, no, that's fine.
I wish I could find a Hitler of today and go kill him. But now that whole things scare me, you know, and I think it's the media does it. Like, they go North Korea, you know, and I don't know, it kind of scares. It doesn't scare me that much, but it's supposed to scare you. But, like, are you really scared? Have you ever woken up, go, ah, and your wife's like, what's the matter, honey? North Korea. A little tiny country way the fuck over somewhere. I'm scared, honey, I'm scared. I'll tell you, Iraq doesn't scare me, North Korea, none of those countries scare me. There's only one country, really, that scares me in the whole country, or in the whole, what do you call that's bigger than a country but less than a galaxy? Earth. The entire Earth, there's only one country that frightens me, and it's the country of Germany. I don't know if you guys are students of history or not, but for those of you who aren't, Germany, in the previous century, of the early part, they decided to go to war.
How ridiculous. The fact that he's walking everyone through as if none of us know. I mean, I guess none of us do know. None of us do know what he's going to mention, what he's talking about. I don't understand or know the history. Oh my gosh.
For those of you who aren't, Germany, in the previous century, of the early part, they decided to go to war. And who did they choose to go to war with? The world. So you think that would last about 5 seconds and the world would fucking win, and, you know, that'd be that. But I think it was actually close. And then, I don't know how that worked, but then 30 years pass, and Germany decides to go to war again. And once again, they choose as their foe the world. And now, this time, they really almost win. So at this point, you would think the world would go, okay, Germany, you're fucking not a country anymore. All right? The fuck? You're not a country because you keep going to war with the world. And no one does. What do you think you are, Mars? Think you're Mars or something?
Oh my gosh. Doc, she's choking. Oh, someone is selling their cups. Wow, they're selling their cups in the middle of the video. I love Norm so much. You guys know it. Okay, let's continue. I don't know if the music is copyright issues, so I'm just skipping the rest of the ad. But if you want to buy his merch, go ahead. I don't think it's going to Norm's team though.
Dirty
the Dirty Johnny jokes, yes.
For the whole series.
In this joke, he's not dirty. But anyways, the teacher has a thing, and the teacher says, today in class, we are going to have a little experiment. You're going to tell a story from your real life, and then afterwards, you are going to tell the moral of that story.
Okay,
so, Sheila puts up her hand, and the teacher says, Sheila, what's your story? So Sheila says, well, my dad works at the hatchery, and he took...
We've heard this one before, but I love this one. I want to hear the differences. I'm excited. Okay.
Eggs. And he put them all in a basket. All the eggs he put in one basket. And then he put them in the horse and buggy, and off we went to town. And the earth was uneven, and the eggs broke. And the teacher goes, well, that's an all right story, but I can't understand what the moral would be to that story. So Sheila says, well, the moral is, don't put all of your eggs into one basket.
So the teacher says, well, by God, this is exactly what I'm looking for and what I was hoping for with this experiment.
Yeah.
And anybody else have one? So Marjorie puts up her hand. Okay, Marjorie, what's your story? Well, my father works for the hatchery. Most of us.
Most people in that town work in the hatchery.
Worked at the hatchery.
Thank God for the hatchery.
Thank God for the hatchery.
Or where would we be? So she says, my father, he sells chickens. And he knows that eggs become chickens. See what I mean? So he had to count his chickens so he could go and sell them in town. So he had 9 chickens and 5 eggs. So instead of saying he had 9 chickens, he added the 5 eggs. You see, he counted them as chickens. So he said, I have 14 chickens. So he took them, Sheila says, and put them in the horse and buggy, and off they went to town, but the land was uneven. The chickens sure survived easily. They frolicked. The eggs broke. Well,
the chicken survived easily. They frolicked.
The chickens sure survived easily. They frolicked. The eggs broke. Well, the teacher says again, that's a story, you know. But what on earth could the moral of that story be? Well, Sheila says, if that's her name, I forgot.
Marjorie. Her name was Marjorie.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch out of the eggs.
Right.
Teacher says you could probably shorten it a little. So, but that's great. And that's exactly what we're looking for. And then she looks at the back of the class, and by God, there's the upraised hands, as you say, fucking dirty Johnny.
Fucking dirty Johnny. He's going to ruin the lesson.
So the teacher, inside of her head, her thoughts are moving around, and she's like, God, I don't want to hear dirty Johnny say it. This is going so well, but at the same time, I took a vow and I became a teacher that every student. All right, Johnny, let's hear your story. So dirty Johnny gets up and he says, this is a story about my Uncle Terry. He didn't work for the hatchery. He didn't even like people that did. He was in Vietnam. And he lives on the disability checks he got. Uncle Terry was not a popular man, not even among those he worked with. And I suppose we've all heard of people who've deserted from their battalion. But I don't know if you've ever heard of a battalion deserting a man. That's what they did with Uncle Terry. One day, Uncle Terry awoke in the middle of Da Nang, and everybody was gone. He was alone, and they'd left him 3 bottles of Jack Daniels and some weaponry. So, Uncle Terry got up, says Dirty Johnny, and he downed the bottle of Jack Daniels in 2 slugs, and he threw it down and smashed it into the jungle. And then he walked, picked up the 2 Kalashnikovs and 3 or 4 Glocks and a couple of hand grenades, and off he walked into the unknown, the jungle, his fate. Came upon a village, and from the village came...
I've seen this already, but it's just his descriptors. Oh my gosh, 2 Glocks.
Then he walked, picked up the 2 Kalashnikovs and 3 or 4 Glocks and a couple of hand grenades, and off he walked
Glocks.
into the unknown, the jungle, his fate. Came upon a village, and from the village came people. Now, were they Charlie, or were they the people that Terry was sent to protect from Charlie? Uncle Terry didn't know. But he knew he had to do something, so he took another swig from the bottle, and he let loose. Took that Kalashnikov and he let it sway like a farmer would a scythe. And the bullets came, and just as hay would fall before a farmer, so the people fell before Uncle Terry. The men, the women, and by God, even the children. And finally, Uncle Terry stood alone in the mud and the blood and the guts and the
Glory.
only at himself.
Why did they say the glory?
Finally, Uncle Terry stood alone in the mud and the blood and the guts and the only at himself. He took a long swig, and his hand brushed against his pants, and he felt wetness, and then he felt shame because he realized he had urinated himself in fear. And then, upon closer inspection, he realized it was not urine. It's ejaculate. And his shame was replaced by pride. And the teacher goes, holy fucking shit, what the fuck? Fucking kind of fucking story is that? Like, we just heard the hatchery and shit, and now this? She goes, well, Dirty Johnny, what on earth could be the moral to such a story? So Johnny thinks about it for a couple of minutes, and he goes, well, I don't know, I guess. Well, I know one thing. You don't fuck with Terry when he's had some drink in him. And he's uncorked the jug. You stay away from Uncle Terry. And he doesn't like anybody that works at the hatchery either. You remember that. You tell your parents that.
Wow.
So that's just to lighten things
What
up.
a joke. Your dad told you that? Your dad was a great storyteller.
That was my dad's story. That
You
he
taught
loved
us to laugh again, Norm.
Thank you.
Look at
Oh, my
that.
goodness.
Ejaculated right in his pants, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Loved
The thrill
killing.
of it. The thrill
The
of it.
thrill of killing.
The thrill of it. Well, who knows? Who knows?
Who knows what it was?
Who knows what would happen if you were put in that situation?
Thank you for that story, Norm.
I mean, we always talk about going back and, if you could only go back in time and kill Hitler. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
But what a horror it would be to go back in time, meet Hitler, and get hypnotized by him.
And like him.
And then become one of the guys. And then it gets even worse.
They say he was a very powerful speaker. You didn't know, All of a sudden, you're killing in
They
his name.
say he was a powerful speaker. Then on YouTube, he's like, "Strike it, God!" And you're like, what
Yelling.
the fucking Christ? Don't vote for him. Vote for anyone else.
I love Norm so much. I have a question for you guys. I feel like most of you who watch the Norm videos with me, you are huge Norm fans, just like me, but I'm a newly found Norm fan. Oh my gosh, say that 4 times fast. Does he bring up Hitler frequently on shows or situations where he doesn't want to be asked back? Because what Andy Samberg said during that interview, like, this is your first interview? Oh yeah, they're really gonna want you back after this. So I'm curious if he didn't want to go back to any of those places that he mentions Hitler. And this was just his way of doing that, solidifying the fact that they don't want to invite him back, or they cannot. So I'm curious about that. I want to know what you guys have to say about that. Take a look in the comments, and also I'm gonna link the comedy video playlist, and I'm also gonna put some of the Norm videos on the recommended videos, probably over here or over here. So if you guys haven't watched the other Norm videos, you can check them out. And until next time, I'll see ya. Bye.